Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Wide Eye Sports Podcast on YouTube and Spotify. Welcome in. We got a lot to go over today. I'm joined by Spoon and Dalton. Brent on the mic hosting as always. Oh boy, what a week. We have had a crazy week in the NFL. I have gone through the transactions list. There's been something or multiple things going on each and every day. Like everybody always complains, like, oh, football season's over. Like football season's year round, baby. Like every month but July. Every month but July, we got football action. I mean, the quarterback carousel's finally worked its way out. We have free agency winners and losers, teams, players. We're going to be throwing a lot at you guys today, so buckle up, hang in, grab a cup of coffee, and let's get started. So, I think we should talk about the coaching or the quarterback carousel first, if that's okay with you guys, since we're kind of settling into a point here where we're kind of got a gauge on who's going to be where and what's going on. You know, obviously. Oh, what did you say?
I was just gonna say we have a better look on who's gonna be looking to go in the draft because a couple weeks ago who's gonna use their draft picks to get a QB, who's going to trade, and I think we can definitively say who's
What's Denver gonna do? Oakland, Minnesota, Washington, New England. I feel like we have so many teams. I feel like it's never like this. I feel like it's always like 2 or 3 teams. Like, oh, they need a quarterback, but like right now. Like
multiple.
To start this offseason, you had Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Seattle, Minnesota, Las Vegas, New York, New England. All those guys all needed quarterbacks, not to mention the Bears and Washington, obviously. But so let's just go through I'm just going to give the whole list here of where everybody's at, and then we'll talk about it. So obviously, Kirk Cousins signing as an Atlanta Falcon. That's a huge one. I know Spoon's really high on Atlanta right now. I know
tampering.
He was really tampering. He said, Dalton said it. Tampering.
No, they've definitely. They're one of my top teams this offseason for sure because I feel like they're putting a lot of players around, and then like obviously the signing of Kirk Cousins, and they already had great team around. Hard. Yeah, they're ready to win. I feel like this Atlanta team is definitely going to make a playoff push.
Oh, absolutely.
They're there to do it.
They're either going to be the 2 or 3 seed, or they're going to be the 5 seed in the first wild card spot. I would presume if Tampa Bay has a good year.
Man, I don't think Tampa Bay beats them.
I'm saying if Tampa Bay has a good year, not that they will.
Do. Yeah, I think Atlanta easily takes that division right now.
Yeah. Speaking of taking their division, the Pittsburgh Steelers get 2 like we all thought, like, okay, who's gonna go to Pittsburgh and be like who's gonna go? It's gonna be Russ, it's gonna be Fields, and it's both of them. They both.
I said from the start that I thought that Fields would go to Pittsburgh.
You did
just after everything, absolutely. But I did not. There was never a thought in my mind that I thought Russ would also be there.
Yeah, me and you both thought Russ was going to Vegas for sure.
Yeah,
but that's crazy that they both end up in Pittsburgh. Obviously, I think Fields is the long-term solution for them, whereas Russ is the short-term. But who knows? Russ could.
Well, they only signed Russ to a 1-year deal, so he's definitely the short-term.
Yeah. Well, who knows? He could ball out, and they'd be like, "Well, we only gave up a 6th for Fields, so let's just keep him as the backup, or sell him for another 6th, and push forward with Russ for the next 3 to 4 years." But another big quarterback trade: Sam Howell to Seattle for a 4th. And some pick swappage. I think that is an absolute steal for Seattle.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't have a long-term option at quarterback. Gino's there, but they can wipe Gino off the books if they want to. And this gives them a guy who's as young or younger than most quarterbacks coming out this year, who's already had a 4,000-yard, 20-touchdown season. I think he had 26.
I mean, he was in the top 2, 3 in passing yards this year. Sam Howell is a great pickup for them. The only
he was for most of the season. I don't know where he finished.
Well, he was leading for a lot of the season.
Yeah. For like early season, he was just they were just letting him sling it.
When it comes to teaching him, you just got to teach him how to take care of the ball. That's all it is. Because there's so many games where he will go off and throw for like 400 yards, but he throws 3 or 4 picks at the same time. So it's like you got to teach him how to take care of the ball while throwing like that total yards every game. And honestly, Sam Howell is he's still young, and he is a great possibly future quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks to replace Geno Smith, because Geno Smith had a great year 2 years ago, but he's coming off of some injuries this year.
Didn't play too
Who
great.
did
when
the
he was in.
Seahawks?
And he didn't play too great.
Who did the Seahawks
They also
have
got
other than
Drew
Geno
Lock.
Smith?
Drew
Lock.
No,
that's
they
what
didn't
it
get
was.
Drew Lock. They had Drew Lock, who signed with the New York Giants.
He did.
But he was there last year.
Yes.
Yep. Another notable backup, Mitch Trubisky signed with the Buffalo Bills. So Josh Allen's got his new backup. Honestly, if I was Mitch Trubisky, I would hate Justin Fields. First, Justin Fields steals his job as Chicago's starter, and then Justin Fields steals his job as Pittsburgh's backup. Like, come on. Like, if you're Mitch Trubisky, you're like looking at Fields like, leave me the fuck alone, dude.
He's following in his footsteps. Yep.
But
That's
Gardner
hilarious.
Minshew, Wazoo reppin', boy goes to Las Vegas. That dude's gonna be an ant. Like, you're gonna hear, like, 40 years down the road, you're gonna hear, dude, when Gardner Minshew was on the Raiders, dude, they had some of the fucking craziest fucking parties.
I was gonna ask about Gardner Minshew. Do you think that this is who Vegas is going with as their starter?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
You
No,
don't
I
think
don't.
they're committed in?
I mean, they
only
committed
paid
to
him
him for a year.
Well, no, it's a 2-year, $25 million deal.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, the top 12, 13 quarterbacks in the NFL now are all making $40 million a year. So to have a $12 million guy as the backup doesn't seem insane to me, especially if they're going to try to draft a rookie.
I mean, it's also a guy that's on the cusp of being in the playoffs. He was literally one win away from being in the playoffs.
Absolutely, and so I definitely don't get me wrong.
You put a better team around him, a better defense around him. Like, who knows? Maybe they are going in on Gardner Minshew here. And they're not going to draft a quarterback. Maybe they're just going to stick with him because he is only 27 years old, dude.
Yeah, no. I love
young.
Gardner Minshew. I love him. He went to Wazoo. Huge legend at Wazoo. Wazoo's my favorite college. I love this guy, and he's a party animal. He's Mr. America. He's a fucking gunslinger. He's not afraid to say what needs to be said when he needs to say it. Like, everything about Gardner Minshew is top tier, except his football ability. That's like medium grade. Like, you know, and I'm not trying to shit on him. He's not a Patrick Mahomes, and I think we're all okay with that. He's more of a Case Keenum circa 2017. Right? Like a probably a career backup, but when he gets in there, he's going to let it loose. He's not going to be afraid. He's going to give you everything he's got, and he's going to be damn good at it. So I love Gardner.
I wouldn't be surprised if Vegas does stick with Gardner Minshew here. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I wouldn't either, only because of lack of available options in this year's draft.
Right, and they pick so far down. They
pick middle of the first round, so they're either going to have.
Yeah, they're going to have to either trade up for somebody, or they're going to be going with they're going to be drafting a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix there.
Speaking of trading up, I got a rumor for us in a little bit, but.
Okay.
We'll wait on that. To finish out the quarterback carousel here, we got Jameis Winston signing as the backup in Cleveland. We have Jacoby Brissett going to New England. Josh Dobbs signing in San Francisco. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, as of today, March 19th, has just agreed to a deal with the LA Rams. So to be the backup for Matthew Stafford. So
pretty boy going to LA. It makes sense.
That's kind of that's the quarterback here right now, man. That kind of gives us some clarity though on the rookies, right? Like Caleb, I think we all assume he's going to be a Chicago Bear.
He's going to be a Bear. There's no doubt in my mind at this point. Right?
Because I don't want to see his career ruined, but unfortunately, he'll end up being a bust because he plays for the Bears.
I don't know.
Jaden Daniels probably either going Washington or New England, one or the other. Drake May probably goes to the other team, or potentially a Vegas, a Denver, a Minnesota who trades up. And then you have Michael Penix, also a Denver, Minnesota, Las Vegas kind of guy. Spencer Rattler has actually gained a lot of steam in the past week. Did you guys hear about his pro day last week?
I did not.
So apparently at his pro day, he looked phenomenal and didn't miss a single throw the entire pro day. And only 2 passes were incomplete, and they were both drops. So he has been skyrocketing this past week from like a 3rd round guy to a mid-second rounder. So obviously that could just be hype for a little bit and it could die off, or it could continue to snowball. So we'll see. And then we got Spoon's guy, Bo Nix. He's kind of, in that Denver.
Well, you didn't even mention one guy.
No, we're not there. We're not there
We're
yet.
not there yet.
Calm down. Jesus Christ. You got,
he's going up there.
Bo Nix is kind of a Denver, hopefully not Minnesota, Las Vegas kind of guy. And then the guy Spoon was alluding to, JJ McCarthy, who is I wanted to have him go last because he is the riser, right? Like when this all started, he was a mid-second round pick, and after the combine and people watching his tape and all these other things, this guy's going in the top 10. Like,
I'm seeing mocks where he is going in the top 3, and the other teams are passing on Drake May right now. That's the mocks that I'm seeing, and there's a lot. I know that the Vikings just had a big day with JJ McCarthy.
No, it's coming up. It hasn't happened yet.
It's about to come up.
They just scheduled him for a private workout, which is totally normal. Teams do that. We signed up to have another quarterback. I think he's like the Iowa State quarterback or something like that. But for him to do a private workout with us as well. But back to JJ McCarthy.
I was gonna say, but at this point, that might be a waste if there's people talking about him going in the top 3.
Well, we'll get there. Don't worry about that. But JJ McCarthy is the riser. Every year there's a guy, right? Every year there's a Patrick Mahomes, not saying like talent wise, but somebody who goes way higher than we all expected him to go. Like when the Chiefs traded up to take Mahomes at 10, everybody was like, whoa, what this really rough edged like gunslinger at 10? What are you doing? So there's always that the Anthony Richardson at 5, like, whoa, hold on here, Indianapolis. This guy is not really a great thrower, and you should probably wait till you could trade it back and got it. Like, JJ McCarthy's that guy this year, and who knows how he turns out, but he's the riser this year. So, anybody got anything else to add to the quarterback carousel situation? Anything anybody wants to talk about?
I mean, I got 2 more coming whenever I talk, so I'll leave them.
2 more what?
Quarterbacks.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, no, I'll leave them out because it's going into our next segment.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're done with it.
Oh,
I'm done with
it.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
All right, I'll go right in. So, biggest winners and biggest losers of free agency, right?
Yeah.
You want to start with the
biggest winners? Let's go around the room with the biggest winners.
You want to do players first and then go to teams?
I don't care. It's up to you. You lead the way. You lead the way.
I'm going to go players, and there's a lot. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of big winners when it comes to players because a lot of players are getting more money than realistically we all thought they would.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a bunch of them, but I'm going to pick my boy. I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield. He's getting more money than I thought he was going to get. It's a 3-year contract. He is set in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is going all in on Baker right now. He has all the confidence in the world. He earned it. He did. Playoff Baker. He earned it.
Playoff Baker.
He is in there. He signed a 3-year, up to $115 million with incentives. $15 million guaranteed, which is more than what I thought that they were going to sign him for. I figured they'd give him like maybe $25 million a year, but they're giving him around like 30 plus a year. So I'm happy for him. I think he's a big winner. Go ahead.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
This relates back to the rookie quarterbacks. So I've heard, we all hear Caleb Williams is a generational type prospect, blah, 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 blah. So I just want to say to everybody right now, give Caleb equal latitude to guys that came out of the Lincoln Riley system before him. The Baker Mayfields who took a little time to get going. The Jalen Hurts who took a little time to get going. The Kyler Murray who took a little bit of time to get going. So give them, they'll be very similar. If you give them the time to succeed and the weapons, they will succeed. So that's all.
And that's another plus for him as well. They just signed his biggest weapon a week or two before
Evans.
a week or two before.
Bringing it back.
And they're all in. I love it for Baker. I'm so happy for him. I'm ready to see him in Tampa for another 3 years.
Yeah.
Good job.
Hopefully,
yeah. Now my biggest loser is also another quarterback position. Now I don't know. I don't think y'all. It's similar to somebody else as well. But I'm gonna say mine. I don't think y'all said y'all have the other guy, but it's Mac Jones. So Mac Jones is a big loser when it comes to this. So first of all, the Patriots drafted him as a first-round pick.
Yeah, that draft class was supposed to be like legendary, and
it was supposed to be great. And the Patriots just traded him, who was a starter last year and the year before, for a 6th round pick. Like if that's me, my confidence is lost. That shows how much that the Patriots think I'm worth. That shows other organizations how much like, oh, if that team thinks that I'm only worth a 6th round pick, what do the other teams think that I'm worth? And obviously it shows it's a 6th round pick. And guess what? You're not a starter anymore, dude. You're probably about to be a backup for the rest of your NFL career because you're going behind Trevor Lawrence. Nobody in their right mind is going to put you over Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Oh my God, hold on. I can see it now. T-Log gets hurt. Mac Jones comes in, leads the Jaguars to their first ever Super Bowl.
No way.
Wow.
Not happening with Mac Jones.
Wow.
I'm just saying, like
I'm just kidding.
After the trade for a 6th rounder and being a backup to a great quarterback already, he's set up for failure again. He's not going to have his confidence is gone. So I feel like Mac Jones is a huge loser during this offseason.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Dalt, you want to go or you want me to go next?
I can go.
Cool.
So for my biggest winner, I've got Tyron Smith. $20 million on a 1-year deal from the Jets is insane. And I definitely would have loved to have seen him come back to Dallas. Spoon, not so much. He wasn't quite as high on him. But the $20 million from the Jets just solidifies what I was saying, is that he is 1,000% that dude. Probably a future Hall of Famer. He
will be.
That's what I'm saying, man. And I was not expecting. I knew he was going to get signed, but I was 1,000% not expecting him to get $20 million, especially out of the Jets.
I think the Jets are looking at him very similar to how San Francisco looked at Trent Williams a few years ago, an older tackle who's an all-pro level guy that's coming off some injuries late in his career. And Trent Williams has been the best tackle in the league for the past 4 years. So,
and obviously the Jets are going to be looking to save their quarterback. Obviously, they lost Aaron Rodgers within 40 seconds of him playing, so they want to bolster up that line as much as possible for him coming off the injury, so they can run into the year that they were supposed to have last year.
Hey man, they can pay him $20 million for 8 games. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Aaron Rodgers still has the chance to do the Brett Favre track and just ditch on New York and come to Minnesota.
It's
still on the table. It's still a thing.
Hilarious. He would never.
All he's got to do is send like 2 dick pics to a secretary, get cut, and then he can come to Minnesota and then play Green Bay and beat up on them twice a year.
Would you want him to go to Minnesota?
Anybody that wears a Vikings jersey, he's happy with. That's how he feels.
Okay.
We know this.
Quick off the wall question: would you rather have Aaron Jones, or would you rather draft a QB that you want? Or Aaron Jones?
You were cutting it out there. You say, would I rather have Aaron Rodgers or draft a QB?
Yes.
I would rather draft a QB 10 times out of 10. Now, if I could get Aaron Rodgers as a stopgap guy for 1 year and draft a QB, that would be the way I would go. But I'm just making fun. I don't think Aaron Rodgers in any way, shape, or form is going to be in Minnesota next season.
Brett Favre is an asterisk. No way that happens again.
Yeah.
Brett Favre.
Anyway, real
Minnesota
quick,
Viking legend, Brett Favre. Unless we're talking about his tax bracket, then he's a Green Bay Packer.
So Tyron Smith is your biggest winner. Dalton is your biggest loser.
Can you guess? It's a quarterback.
I can.
Quarterback.
You can, because I told you.
Justin Fields?
No, Dak Prescott.
Really?
Only because I feel like at the beginning of last season, there were talks about his contract extension. Throughout the entirety of last season. And then as soon as the game was over, everyone's talking about the contract extension and all the leverage that he still has, even with the abysmal performance that he put up against the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs. People were still saying, oh, he's got all the leverage. And it hasn't swayed any other way. He still, to this day, has all the leverage. But that being said, with everything that's been going on, with everyone that's been getting signed, you're getting a lot of QBs. Yeah, Russ got a 1-year deal. With how many teams that are getting signed or how many teams that are signing quarterbacks and putting up all that money for their quarterbacks, And Jerry Jones still hasn't. There's nothing. There's not even a hint of what's going on. The only thing we're hearing about Dak and Jerry are their ongoing lawsuits that they have.
Yeah. I know.
That's rough.
That's a whole nother conversation. If you
Exactly.
want to have
save that. We can say that.
We can save it. We can save it for the end. That's
and
fine.
they're not.
We'll talk about that
about
a little bit.
They're not getting any closer. I'm not saying that he's not going to get signed, because he's obviously going to get signed. But
yeah,
it should have happened. He should have been one of the first QBs to get signed, if you ask me, just because of how much of a no-brainer it was.
God,
he should have been the first quarterback to get their contract restructured. He is the second highest. He is the second highest cap player in the NFL.
In shambles.
He is the second highest cap hit player in the NFL. He should not.
Yeah, and it just went up.
An extension. I know it just went up, but it shouldn't go up.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
All right. We got more on that later. We got more. I'm gonna take my biggest loser. I'm gonna go with my biggest loser, and that would be Josh Allen in Buffalo. The dude is going to have to play both sides of the ball now. I've said it before. He's going to have to play middle linebacker now for the Bills, because they've just been decimated by the salary cap. The salary cap's very real for all of you. Salary cap's not real, people. It's very real. You have to pay the piper eventually, and they were negative $51 million, and they had to pay. They lost a few key guys. They lost their wide receiver 2, their wide receiver 4, their running back 2. They lost a couple other guys, lost some safeties. Jordan Poyer's now at a division rival in Miami. And that's a Pro Bowl level player in the secondary.
Yep.
It's just like,
dude, I wish you would have started with your winner and then ended with your loser, but yeah, keep going.
I'm sorry. But Josh Allen is definitely my biggest loser. I feel terrible for him, because he's going to have to go out there and ball every week for this team to have a chance of winning, and he's just going to get shit on for not winning the QB stats like a Kirk Cousins, right? Like he doesn't win game, but he's doing everything he can. On the other side, my biggest winner, Saquon Barkley. That dude got paid. Yep. That dude gets to run behind probably the best run blocking line in the NFL next season. He gets to play with a mobile quarterback.
Minus Jason Kelce.
Well, yeah, minus Jason Kelce, obviously. Gets to play with a mobile quarterback, which will only free him up more. And then the most important part of this is he will no longer face 8-man boxes. Because when you play Philadelphia and you got A.J. Brown on the outside, you can't play man-to-man. Like, that's not an option. Like, A.J. Brown will eat your lunch money and then serve you your lunch and then eat it in front of you. Like, that's not a feasible thing to do most of the game. Now, obviously, defense will switch it up, switch schemes up, balance it out. But Saquon Barkley just won big time. He's going to have a career year and get paid as a top 5 running back in the NFL. So good for him. With that, I think we should move on to our biggest winners and losers of teams. You want me to lead, or you want to lead?
You can go ahead and lead.
Okay, cool. I'll lead it off here, get it out of the way here. My biggest free agency winner. It's going to be a huge bias one, but it was I let all the guys choose first, and then I chose from the remnants, and this is the biggest winner of the remnants. So the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings have, hear me out, the Minnesota Vikings have done nothing but improve for the future this offseason. You'll be like, but they lost their quarterback, and who's going to even play quarterback? It doesn't matter, because they are now on the path that they wanted to be 2 years ago when they hired their head coach and GM, and the owners wouldn't let them.
He says that until the Vikings trade Justin Jefferson, then he'll feel different.
They are not going to trade Justin Jefferson.
Go ahead.
I've seen so many rumors. Antonio Brown's over there on CTE, ESPN, swearing that he's going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's not happening. Like, I get it. It's fun to talk about. Our GM has come out, and he's lost all negotiation ability, because he's come out and said, Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL, and he deserves to be paid that way. End of story. He has said that. So that's going to happen. There's no doubt in my mind. But the Vikings, this year, they have 2 first-round picks now. So earlier you said, talking about how are the Vikings going to get a good quarterback, they could package both those first-round picks together and move up into the top 5 pretty easily, like 2 first-round picks to drop back 6 spots. I take that deal. So if I'm the Chargers or if I'm the Giants,
that's the team I was looking
right?
at. If I'm
or
the Chargers,
even if I'm Arizona,
maybe.
if I'm Arizona, and I see, so there's 3 major pass catching weapons at the top of the draft, right? We have Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., Brock Bowers. You can get one of those 3 at 11.
Yep.
So, I mean,
I was also going to throw Roma Dunze in there.
Yeah,
I mean, you can get him at 11 as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you can get any of those 4 guys at 11, and the
23rd pick,
and the 23rd pick, where you can pick up a high-level defensive guy, because the top end is going to be so offensive heavy. You're going to have a lot of good defenders sitting in the back half of the first round. So a Arizona, man, I would even be hard-pressed to be like, we'll offer the 2 this year and a first next year for the 2nd overall pick to Washington, because you could still potentially get a Michael Penix or a Bo Nix at 11 or 23.
Yep.
And so
easily
having that 2nd first round pick, which they got from the Texans they traded away this year's number 42 overall pick, next year's 2nd round pick, and the 188 from this year. And they got in return the 23 and the 247. So they swapped 6th and 7th round picks. They sent 2 seconds to Houston, and we got a first. So, I mean, and if you look at the trade charts and whatnot, the Vikings ended up 50 points ahead on the trade. So that's equal to a mid-3rd rounder. So really, you're up a 3rd rounder at this point. You can do, 2 firsts and a 3rd to move up with New England at 3. I don't know. I just have a hard time with who I had left to pick from. Obviously, I agree there are bigger winners this offseason so far, but from who I had left to pick from, this was the obvious answer. Mm-hmm. They got 3 brand new pass rushers, Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel, almost said Winkle, and then Blake Cashman. Harrison Smith took a $10 million pay cut to stay in Minnesota, signed Aaron Jones, got TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison coming off a great rookie year. Brian Flores just took us from the 31st overall defense to a top 15 defense in 1 year, and now he's getting guys he wants. I just think Minnesota's done really well outside of losing their starting quarterback, but they've planned so well for the future that I don't think starting quarterback's going to be an issue. So,
cool.
From that, though, I'm going to move to Dalton. You good to give us your biggest winner?
Yeah, so I'm going to say the Patriots. I like the way the Patriots are going. I have a lot of hope for them, even after getting rid of Bill Belichick. They are coming off of a rough year. They're obviously running into a rebuild year. They signed Jacoby Brissett, who, again, another
area
vet. Where Spoon and
strong bet.
Well, another area where Spoon and I disagree. I like that signing for them, but honestly, you could have signed if you were the Patriots, you could have signed anybody other than Mac Jones, and I would have been totally happy for them.
You'd been on board.
Yeah. They re-signed and kept a lot of their core guys, and I also like the Jared Mayo hiring, and they're bringing in a lot of help where they needed to. Overall, I'd probably give them like I think I'd say like a B-, maybe a B+, B-.
Yeah.
So nothing too crazy, but definitely fitting into that rebuild and doing everything that they can to hopefully get better than a 4-12 season.
Absolutely. Spoon. Oh, sorry, Dalt.
I was gonna say, that being said, my biggest loser are the Dallas Cowboys.
You knew it was everybody who watches the show, they knew it was coming.
If you're listening, I mean, yeah. You gotta,
if you're listening even like once a month, you know who Dalton was going with there.
That was one of my top 3 teams that I had as my biggest loser, but I was like,
we all did.
I'll let
we gotta let Dalton
let someone else have it.
Appreciate you. Yeah, it's pretty obvious, man. After the loss to Green Bay, Jerry Jones saying we're going all in, and then they make zero moves. And then Stephen Jones has got to come back out on a podcast saying, "Oh well, going all in means retaining our core guys, and you know, I love some of the re-signings, but it breaks my heart to see Tyron Smith, a Cowboy legend, leave. Leighton Vander Esch, who he was only there for about 6 years, but man, that guy was a huge wall.
He was no Sean Lee, I tell you that much.
He's no Sean Lee, but
I
would say I'd give him Sean Lee light, man, because anytime he was gone, he was missed on that defense. Yeah. I'm telling you, him and Jonathan Hankins were huge on stopping the run, and also Jonathan Hankins.
I think Michael Gallup hurt me pretty hard. I know that we needed to let him go, but I'm gonna miss him.
Don't even worry about your team, boys. Mike Zimmer's got you.
He's got you. Hope so. But yes, I'm gonna miss Michael Gallup for sure.
Zim's a goat. Zim's a goat.
He had an offseason last year, but
I mean, he was coming off an injury, and it's kind of hard, you know. Just like Tony Pollard, you know, I'm not really upset about losing Tony Pollard. I am upset about not. If what Derrick Henry said was true, I am upset about not even reaching out for him. I mean, they only paid who did he sign with? Who Derrick Henry signed with?
Derrick Henry,
Baltimore. Derrick Henry's went with the Baltimore, yeah.
And then what was it, $8 million?
I'm still upset. Yeah, no, it was more than $8 million. Zach Moss was the 2-year $8 million. But I'm very upset that we didn't even give him a call. Is the thing. Yeah, that's what really upset me. Like, you at least got to give him a call.
Too rich for Jerry's blood.
Yeah. Everything is too rich for Jerry's blood, man. And like I said,
Jerry doesn't have much money laying around.
We've let go of more guys than we have signed them, and you know, it's just not looking too good. But if you're a Dallas fan, man, it's really shouldn't have surprised anybody. This is Jerry's move. He makes little to zero moves in free agency.
Yep.
Does everything he can in the draft. And I know we're gonna pick an offensive lineman in the first round. I think we have pick 24.
Yep.
And we're gonna pick an offensive lineman.
No, we're picking offensive lineman.
You'll pick the best lineman available.
I would be happy if we actually did pick an offensive lineman, because this class of offensive linemen looks really good. So if there was a year for them to cowboy up, to be Cowboys and do the same thing they do every year, and pick an offensive lineman with their first round pick, this is a good year to do it.
If this was the year to cowboy up, we would draft a defensive lineman in the first round, and then we would trade up in the second round to get one of these guys that falls into the second round.
Well, that's what we did last year. We
hold on. We're getting too draft heavy. We got a mock draft coming up later this week for everybody. So Spoon, you want to go ahead and give us your picks?
I'm gonna go ahead and go with my biggest loser. It's basically going off of what you said. You said Josh Allen. Well, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills.
Hey.
I mean, they're cutting all their star players. Yep, cheers to that. Cutting the wide receiver too. They did sign Curtis Samuel, but is he gonna be another Gabe Davis? I don't know.
I mean, I see Curtis Samuel more as like how they use DJ Moore in Chicago, and like Stephon Diggs can already do all that kind of stuff. So like,
I don't know. I feel like they're spending their money the wrong way. They also signed cornerback Taron Johnson to a 3-year, $31 million deal. So
$31 million, I think.
They're spending their money, but I think that they are spending their money in the wrong way. They could have spent it right and saved some, like tried to get a lot of these players back, and instead they're kind of overpaying, is what I feel like. For all these other players to come in, and it sucks for Josh Allen, dude. It sucks because his defense is essentially gone.
Dude,
it's atrocious right now.
Josh Allen couldn't win with a top 10 defense every year. What do you think he's going to look like with a top 25 defense next year? Like,
exactly,
he's going to have great numbers, but they're going to be 7 and 10. Like, it's not going to be good. So
I'm not high on the Bills. I don't think they did. I mean, I know that they had the salary cap was against them, so they didn't really have a whole lot to work with.
Yeah, they started at negative 51 million, so it's not like they were starting with a leg up.
But still, they're still paying. Like, they paid Curtis Samuel a 3-year, $30 million deal. So they're still paying guys.
$10 million a year for that guy.
Yeah, but so they're still paying, but they're getting rid of all their original cast basically, and it's just I don't see a way where the Bills win this offseason at all. I don't see a scenario.
I said it when the season ended a few weeks back. I don't know if you guys remember, but I guess a couple months back now. This is the Jets division to take.
Oh, absolutely.
The Bills
At this
and the
point,
Dolphins
yes.
are both hurting salary cap wise, and the Dolphins have actually done remarkably well this free agency period for as cap struck as they were. They got a lot of talent there, including Jordan Poyer coming from Buffalo. So
That's a huge
I don't
signing.
think Miami's going to be as bad off as I thought they would be. Buffalo will be. Buffalo will be as bad off as I thought they would be. And then obviously New England's not a threat to anybody yet. So with that being said, did you give us your biggest winner yet?
I did not. And
Okay, cool.
I'm glad Riley's not here because I know that he would support me fully. But I'm going with the Bears, dude. The Bears are they're making so many moves this offseason. It's fun to watch. Like,
see, I can't like. I think
that
the Bears are getting fleeced right now.
Listen,
Justin
dude.
Fields for a 6th. DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift is a great signing. I think. I like the signing. I really do. I think Keenan Allen for a 4th rounder is a great pickup.
Hold on. They're paying him a lot of money, and he's only got 1 year this year left on his contract.
Perfect. So if he shits the bed this year, who cares?
Yeah,
they have all the salary cap in the world to work with right now, and you only traded a 4th round pick for him. And if this is Keenan Allen's 1 year deal, he should ball out. He should want to ball out. He should want to go out there and make every play that he can. That way he can get a bigger deal next year. Absolutely, because he's getting old. And I think
it was funny that Keenan Allen, when he got to Chicago, they asked him who were you most excited to play with, and his immediate answer was Justin Fields, and then the next day Fields got traded.
The thing that's really getting me with the Bears is that I truly believe that they are putting the best weapons that they possibly can
absolutely
around Caleb Williams, which is what they should be doing, and they did it perfectly. They did this offseason perfect, the way that it needs to be. They already knew from the start. I feel like the Bears organization knew from the start, like, hey, we're going with Caleb Williams. We're going to let Justin Fields go. Who cares if you let him go for, what was it, a 6th round pick?
Yeah.
That's fine. Let him walk. You're going to get your guy that you wanted, and you're also signing all these players that can help make him better. And also, you got a veteran tight end coming in. I'm not low on Gerald Everett at all. So you have Everett and Cole Kmet.
Great run blocker.
You got a great run blocker, but you also have 2 very good tight ends coming in as well. So you're stacking up. You're stacking up the tight end position. You're stacking up the wide receiver position because they also got Dante Pettis, right? Mm-hmm. Another great wide receiver.
Great wide receiver.
Not a great wide receiver. I'm saying like for where he's going to be at, he's going to be a
wide receiver 4/wide receiver 3 for the Bears.
And that's what I'm getting at. That's a very good, solid wide receiver 3 or 4 for them to play with.
Yeah.
For Caleb Williams.
Adds to a solid receiving. He adds depth to a receiving core.
Exactly.
He could start for you in a pinch if, Keenan Allen goes down for a few games, injury history there.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that the Bears are doing everything that they're supposed to be doing to set up Caleb Williams for success. So I'm happy I'm happy with what they're doing.
That's fair. I would definitely agree with that. The way I give Ryan Poles a lot of flack for how he runs things over in Chicago, getting fleeced on the Pittsburgh wide receiver. Why am I blanking on his name? 2nd round pick for the TikTok receiver. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Chase Claypool.
Thank you. Yeah. Jesus, I don't know why. I was wanting to say Chase Young, and that wasn't. I was like, that's a D end.
That's a
just
defensive lineman.
Yep. So like, what the? But so getting fleeced there for a 2nd round pick, getting fleeced on the Fields trade. There's just a lot of things he does that I question, but he has definitely got the overall recipe down for turning a team from a dumpster fire into a capable franchise. And while I think they're a year early, like I would prefer to have my rookie quarterback come in and sit behind somebody and learn from them and then hand them the reins with all these great weapons around them the next season. I'm not faulting Poles for that. That's not like that's the only way you can do it. So I do like what he's done with Chicago. I just think Chicago had so much money and so much they could have done. They only have 5 draft picks this year. So they don't have a whole lot of draft capital, and they could have.
But 2 of those are in the 1st round. So
Yeah, exactly. So you have 2 in the top 10, and then you have, I guess, no, because they traded their 4th. So you have 2 in the top 10, and then 2 the entire rest of the draft.
Hey, man, they're going to get 2 top-tier guys. So
that's great. You can have 2 starters, but then there's still 22 guys that have to go out there. There's 53 guys who got to show up every Sunday, and I just can't get behind that with them on that level, like being the biggest winner just because of that. Like DeAndre Swift signing with them when Saquon's on the board, when Henry's on the board, when all these great running backs are out there, and you jump on DeAndre Swift, a guy who was looked at as this highly touted prospect who busted out, who went to Philly, got a backup job in Philly, and now you're going to pay him to be your running back 1? Like that bugs me. The Keenan Allen trade, I do agree, was a good deal for both sides. The Chargers get cap relief, and then the Bears get a talented weapon on for cheap. So I feel like that was very mutually beneficial to both sides. Which I said last week on the pod, I said that both Mike Williams, who just signed with the Jets today, and Keenan Allen were more likely to be cut than either of the DNs, and that turned out to be true. Both Bosa and Mack are staying in LA, but the Bears have made some good moves, but they have also made equally bad moves, in my opinion. So it balances out for me. But that doesn't even compare to the team I have as my biggest loser, the New Orleans Saints. All right. I think the New Orleans Saints are in for some rough living these next few seasons. They don't jump out of the bottom 8. Unless you don't. They are in the bottom 8 in cap space for the next 4 years. They are in the bottom 8 every year as of right now. Okay. They are essentially taking, they re-signed Tyrann Mathieu, they re-signed Demario Davis, they re-signed Cam Jordan. Those guys all came back, and they just signed Chase Young yesterday. So that's actually for me, that was their only good move this offseason. And that didn't happen until yesterday after I'd already picked them as my biggest loser. So, grain of salt there. They're currently sitting at $18 million in cap space left, which I assume they'll pick up a few more little guys and then their rookie deals. They lost Mike.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. They lost Mike Thomas. This is more than likely Alvin Kamara's last season on the team. They can save $17 million against the cap by cutting him next year. So unless he takes a big restructure, which I doubt because he's been so heavily used by them, this is probably his last season there. All that put together, and you're taking a team that went 9-8, and you're essentially saying, let's run it back against a schedule that's going to be more difficult than it was last season. So in a way tougher division than it was last season. We lost Dalton. Oh, well.
Anyway.
Hopefully he comes back. Let's change this view up, though. Oh, there he is. Hold on.
My bad.
Oh, you're good.
Not sure what happened.
You're good. But no, it really kills me. They had the second easiest schedule last year of any team, and they went 9-8. And you're taking that team and saying, let's run it back. And you're expecting to be better when your cap space is only going to get worse in the future. I think they have absolutely had, like I said about the Bills, you have to pay the piper, and they're going to have to pay, and they've kind of bumbled their way to this point, and it's only going to get worse for Saints fans. And I would say I feel for you, but you cheated to win a Super Bowl, so I don't feel bad for you at all.
Well, that's what I was coming in and saying is that, they do have 18 mil in cap space this year, but next year, currently, they have 60 mil that they are under, negative 60 mil under the cap. So they're going to
They don't jump out of the top 8 for 4 years.
Yeah.
They're bottom 8 in the league for the next 4 seasons in cap space.
Yeah, but we can also assume that the next 4 years the cap is going to go up a lot.
It will.
This accounts for that. This accounts for that.
Oh, okay.
So over the cap accounts for projected salary growth,
I'm just saying that and after hearing what you're saying and after seeing what I'm seeing, there is no way Alvin Kamara is on the Saints next year.
No chance.
No way. No
chance.
way. They are going to get rid of him. No chance he stays on the team.
I agree completely. It doesn't make much sense for him to be there. They'll need major salary cap.
Yep.
Yep. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up my stuff here, my notes here.
No,
but
you're good, dude.
major salary cap room in the next few seasons, and I just don't see a world in which they keep him because of that. And it sucks because he's going to go probably in their Ring of Honor one day down in New Orleans.
Oh yeah,
and he's they already lost Mike Thomas. He hasn't signed anywhere yet, but I'm sure he will. And
Cowboys haven't done shit. I'll take Mike Thomas for a cheap deal. Let's go.
Would you take Mike Thomas 2 years, $25 million? Yes or no?
No. I would probably take Mike Thomas 2 year, 16 mil.
16? Okay, I don't hate that.
I would probably go 16 mil.
All right. So we're gonna move on from that. We're gonna talk a little rumor mill action. Spoon, you got any rumors for the crowd that you've been hearing across the NFL?
I don't really have anything at the moment.
Nothing.
Do you have
Dalton, you got anything?
I got something.
Yeah.
Zeke, back to the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I wouldn't be mad either. I just don't
know, man.
I don't believe it, dude.
Okay, so I don't think it's gonna happen. Especially with how he left the Cowboys. Now they didn't leave on bad terms, but Zeke repeatedly had said he would restructure his contract to stay, and they still were like, "Nah, you're good." Still cut him anyway. And now for them to possibly be coming back to try and re-sign him, that's
it's a potential. It's a potential thing.
It's there.
It's a potential thing. I have a big rumor that is and isn't a rumor because I think it's a fact, but it's still a rumor at this point in time. The Vikings are going to trade up. The Vikings are going to trade up in this draft. So I don't think there's a world in which you trade up to get the number 23 overall pick because you're thinking, oh, there's a player I really like at 23 and I want to make sure I get them. I think you trade up to number 23 so you have 2 first-round picks. So now you have something that Denver, Las Vegas, all those guys that also need quarterbacks don't have. Another first-round pick capital this year to go up and get the quarterback you like. Now, I don't think they know who that is yet or where they'll have to trade to yet. But that's my hard rumor is that the Vikings will trade up in the draft. I don't think anybody's shocked by that, but no. I very much see that. And
I don't know, man. I don't know if anyone's going to give it up because a lot of the
top 3 teams all need a quarterback. No, I'm just saying the top 3 teams all need a quarterback. So it's definitely not like, oh, well, we lost Dalton again. Well, anyways,
3 teams need a quarterback. So
top 3 teams need a quarterback. I think the Vikings could get New England to bite on a really big trade. We'd have to go pretty overboard. 2 firsts this year, a first next year, and then like a 4th and a 5th pick swap, probably something along those lines. Like it would have to be a big trade. But I definitely think we could get in Arizona and LA Chargers, one of those 2 picks 4 or 5 for just the 2 first rounders this year, maybe a 3rd rounder too. But I definitely think the Vikings are moving up. I definitely also think that add Dalton back in here, that the Denver Broncos will end up with Bo Nix as their starting quarterback week 1.
Really? Okay.
Sean Payton. Think Drew Brees. When you think Drew Brees, you think of elite level decision making and accuracy. And while I don't agree that, Bo Nix, in my opinion, isn't that great of a guy, and I wouldn't want him leading my team, I think Sean Payton will look at him and go, he was accurate, and he knew how to make decisions. And I think Sean Payton will eventually be enamored enough to take that because there won't be any other quarterbacks on the board at that time. So I definitely think that Bo Nix will be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos week 1.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Nope.
I was going to say that we have not shouted out the news that the Browns are signing Jerry Jeudy to a 3-year extension.
Yeah. No, I was getting ready to go over all the big news from this past week for all the folks at home that need a little catch-up action. So that just happened today, March 19th, as we're recording. Jerry Jeudy signs a average of, I think it's $19 million a year.
Yeah.
$19 million a year deal, which literally makes me shit myself because if Jerry Jeudy gets 19 a year, what's Justin Jefferson going to get?
Jefferson, yeah.
Because JJ's every bit twice the receiver that Jeudy is. So
I was actually going to say I don't hate it. I'm still high on Jerry Jeudy. I've been high. You're not at all.
I am not high on Jerry Jeudy. I when they came out, I knew the Vikings were going to take a receiver that draft class, and I did a hard deep dive on all the receivers. I actually had CeeDee Lamb. I think I've told you this before. I had CeeDee Lamb as my number one receiver coming out of that draft. I had CeeDee Lamb, JJ, Jerry Jeudy, and then Jalen Reagor is my 4. The only thing Jerry Jeudy does well is he runs good routes, but when he gets in game, he runs the route well, timing wise. He does not run it well. Like if he has leverage this way, he doesn't know how to bring the defender in and then reverse the leverage on him. He just runs the route and he runs it perfectly, but he doesn't beat the receiver with the route. Whereas like a Stephon Diggs, he will have his route, like say he's running a post, right? He will make sure he wins to the inside and then leans the receiver trying to beat him outside before he then shoots on the post route, right? Getting his defender off balance, freeing him up to get open on the post. Jerry Jeudy will just give him a quick jab step, get around him, go, and then hit the post, and the guy's trailing him the whole time. And if it's not a perfectly thrown ball, it's swatted away. So I am not huge on Jeudy. I think he has a drop problem. I don't think he's fast enough to win the way he wants to win. And I do commend him for his route running ability, but that is it.
Okay. So, what are some other big signings you have?
So obviously we have the Bears trade Fields to Pittsburgh for a conditional 6th round pick. Could be a 4th round pick if Fields starts major time. I don't know the exact details on yet. It hasn't been dropped yet. So we'll update you on that when it does drop. Pickett and a 24 4th rounder for 2 25 7th rounders and a 24 3rd round pick. So Pickett goes to Philly. Steelers get those picks. And then got a couple more here. Sam Howell and a 4th and 6th round pick in this year's draft to the Seahawks for a 3rd and a 5th. So you're basically swapping a 3rd and a 4th, swapping a 5th and a 6th, and the Hawks get Sam Howell. Arizona and Atlanta swap Desmond Ridder for Rondale Moore. Joe Mixon
I love that.
You like that one?
Actually, I really like that.
Yeah, no, it's adding a weapon for Kirk Cousins, right?
Yep.
And then it's giving Desmond Ridder a fresh start. If Kyler Murray goes down, they're both similar quarterbacks.
Yep.
He can step right in as long as he learns the playbook, which they're going to be doing in Arizona. So
actually, I did not see that trade. I think I saw Rondale Moore to Atlanta, but I did not see what they gave up.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder goes back. Straight swap, player for player. Very rare that you see that happen nowadays.
I like it.
Deontay Johnson and a 7th to Carolina for Dante Jackson and a 6th. So a 6-7 swap there between Pittsburgh and Carolina, and then Deontay Johnson and Deontay Jackson flip-flop.
So Carolina's going all in with Bryce Young.
Okay, and I would hold on. Well, remind me about Bryce Young at the very end. Reminds me about Bryce Young after I finish this. So Joe Mixon to Houston for a 7th. Obviously, Houston had to pay Joe Mixon, so that's why they got him for so cheap. And then the big one was Brian Burns to the Giants for a 5th and the number 39 overall pick this year, which is a 2nd round pick, and that is huge.
Yeah,
that is massive because Brian Burns is really good, and they could have gotten a 1st and a 3rd last year for him. So that's a huge bumble. But back to the Bryce Young thing for just a second. I do think this guy can be good, and I do think he can win at the NFL level. They just need talent around him. He had a god-awful offensive line. A 32-year-old Adam Thielen was his best weapon on offense by a quarter mile.
Yep.
Like, it's not... They're going to get him weapons. They're going to get him some help. Their defense played really well statistically last year. So I really think you just got to give him a little time. The organization itself is a dumpster fire. Bryce Young can succeed.
So you're in. Like you agree with them being all in on.
I'm in on Bryce Young.
Okay, that's what I was bringing up because I do think that bringing in Deontay Johnson is a great pickup for them. Gives him a very good weapon to work with because, like you said, they only had Adam Thielen last year, he is an older. I know that you have tremendous love for Adam Thielen. But
Love the guy. I got a little figurine right there.
Yeah,
love
but
that man.
But he is an older receiver.
He's older. He's not what he used to be.
Hey, they utilized him well too last year.
Yeah. I have no hatred in my heart. I have nothing but camaraderie, respect, and love for Adam Thielen. Nothing he could ever do would change that for the most part. Love that guy. But to wrap up the show, we're going to bring back one of these guys. A little player comparison, and I apologize for the rough draft here. I couldn't... The presentation... Yeah, the presentation isn't working properly for the windows, so I had to copy this into a PDF from the Excel spreadsheet, so it's a little off. But you get the overall situation here. We'll even do this here. Center it for us here. We got player A, player B. You got total yards, passing touchdowns, interceptions, games, completion percentage, passing yards per attempt, passing yards per game, total touchdowns, QBR, and quarterback record. And each of these quarterbacks played post 2000, and this is their first 6 seasons in the NFL. Not as starters, first total 6 seasons in the NFL. Very similar guys through their first 6 years. Any guesses?
Let's see. So looking at it, I'm looking at touchdowns, and I see that obviously quarterback B rushes a little more than quarterback A does.
Yep.
So I'm putting yeah. I mean, obviously a lot more.
So quarterback B has a better completion percentage, better yards per attempt, better yards per game, more total touchdowns, and a better QBR in 4 less games than quarterback A.
And they've both been in the league for 6 years.
Yeah, these are 2 6-year guys at this point. Quarterback A wins in total yards, wins in passing touchdowns by 5, has thrown more interceptions, and then has a better overall quarterback record at 32-34 versus quarterback B, who's 21-25. All right, so overall score here, you get quarterback B, who has 6, and quarterback A, who has 4. Categories 1.
Are they both currently in the NFL?
No.
Okay. All right. So,
do you want teams? I can give you.
You don't know.
They
I
both
just wanted
played
to know
for one team. Do you want that one team?
No, because that's going to give it away. I feel like because I know past quarterbacks. I wanted to know if they're still both in the league or not.
No, one of them is. One of them is not.
Okay. Damn, dude.
Yeah, this is a pretty good one. I have no idea.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. Both of them have played in their both of them have been on a team that made it to their respective conference championship game.
Okay. I feel like then...
So both of them have been on the...
Player B is Cam Newton. Damn, okay.
This is a tough one.
Yeah.
I felt very confident in that pick too.
In that Cam Newton pick? Ooh.
All right.
Matt Ryan, is one of them Matt Ryan?
Nope.
No, more passing yards. Way more passing yards.
All right, you guys get one more guess between the two of you. So collaborate here, talk to each other.
Those total, on a guess. Like I said, I keep looking at the total touchdowns.
They were both drafted in the same year, but one of them is still playing.
No, they were not both drafted
just their first 6 years.
Yeah, both of these guys, these are their stats through the first 6 years of their NFL career.
Gotcha.
All right.
Shit. Is one of them?
Let me look something up. Let me look something up. What? Hold on. Before you make a...
No, one of them's not... No. That's way too many...
Both of them were drafted post the year 2000.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not Brett Favre, I promise that.
Okay.
Damn, then one of them had some injuries.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Is one of them Donovan McNabb?
Nope. Neither of them is McNabb.
Okay.
All right, just go ahead and tell us.
No.
All right.
I want another guess.
Nope. One more guess. Yeah, one more guess in you. Okay.
I do. I want to keep going. Let me see. 6 years. Damn, I'm trying so hard to think of quarterbacks.
All right. I'll give you another one.
Go ahead.
Both were top 3 picks in the draft.
Okay. Ooh, is one Matt Leinart?
Nope.
I don't even know who
I'm
that
One
out.
is it? One was a USC quarterback though. You're getting close. You want another guess? You want to call it?
Well, if it was a,
I'll
no,
give you one
it's-
last guess, and then you got to call it. Actually, I don't know where one of these guys went.
Where did the other guy go? Just give me that one. Just give me.
That's
where
what I'm
the
looking
other,
up right now.
Give me where the other guy went, and then let me make my last one more guess, and then it's over.
Utah.
Utah. God damn. That doesn't help me.
That
at
doesn't
all.
help you at all. That wouldn't
That
help you
doesn't
at
help.
all.
That does not help me at all. That's fine. Go ahead.
All right, so quarterback A is
Gardner Minshew.
Alex Smith.
Okay.
Alex.
Oh my
Smith.
god.
Okay, quarterback B.
Steven was here, he would have got it.
Quarterback B, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold.
I kind of figured that was a USC quarterback, but I didn't.
Yep.
like that was
Sam
happening.
Darnold. So I mean, I bring this up as a Vikings fan. We just signed Sam Darnold. Alex Smith went on to make multiple AFC championship games with Kansas City. And while I don't expect Sam Darnold to make multiple NFC championship games with the Minnesota Vikings, I just wanted to show this to people out there that when teams bring in these bridge guys, these Sam Darnolds, the Gardner Minshews, the Jacoby Brissetts, all these guys, that this is kind of the recipe they're hoping for. Alex Smith was a captain checkdown, right? He was that guy.
Yep.
But at the same time, they made multiple AFC championship games with him, made multiple deep playoff runs with him. So in the end, they decided we need something to get us over the edge. They drafted Patrick Mahomes, worked out well for them. But this is the strategy most teams go for when they want that bridge quarterback. They want a guy who's struggled, who has high draft pedigree in the past, who they can tap into and utilize some of that potential. So just for all those fans out there that go, I'm a Patriots fan, why did we sign Jacoby Brissett? That's so dumb. Or the Giants fans are like, Drew Lock, like that's so stupid. Like, why would we waste our money? Like, you're just hoping that you can get some potential, a couple years of good play out of him. That's it. So, and it's possible. They did it with Alex Smith. I mean, I would argue Sam Darnold has better stats than Alex Smith, and I would agree, like prior to last season when he played for the Niners, I would have called Sam Darnold an outright bust. There's no way he's playing in the NFL in 3 years, and here he is getting an opportunity to be a bridge quarterback. So,
yep,
that's where I stand on that. Anything else anybody's got to add?
No, I think we're good.
That's
All right,
how stumped I am from those two
Yeah.
comparisons. God damn.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much. We'll see you again next week. Make sure to tune in later this week. We got another mock draft coming at you. Get you all tuned into that. So you guys have a great one. We'll see you next time.